Alright, I fixed the subwoofer again. How long will it last? I don't know. So where are we at? 118s on the mains and air correctors are 185s. I've noticed it does pull drastically hard. Let's just say the hardest it's ever pulled with those jets. Totally ecstatic. Ooh, that's another big word. I just started the engine and I need to tighten that up actually. And they will not ignite until I go for like a block. All of a sudden it'll shoot up to like optimal. My idles are running perfect. They run inside the optimal. So idles are up to about, I'm gonna say 65, 70, somewhere around there. So my idles basically work all the way up to here, and then the mains start kicking in, and then we go rich. That's pretty much the story in a nutshell. So we're gonna mess with the bowl, fuel bowl, and I think that should actually cause everything to shift, even the idles, because they run right here. They run right there at 65, 70. So once I lower the fuel bowls, it actually should shift to about close to the middle, or not quite the middle, but somewhere around there. And the mains that are right there, right in the rich, like that much, should, in theory, go up to the very edge of optimal or stoich. So that is my goal right there, just to be an eighth of stoich or optimal. I want to be about a quarter or an eighth into the very edge when I'm cruising on the freeway at 85 miles an hour. Let's just do this. Alright, so I already went ahead and turned the key for a little while because I have an electric fuel pump. Lucky me. Otherwise, you would just, before you do anything else, before you disconnect this stuff, make sure your engine was running, so that way you got, fuel in there. So what I'm going to do is actually remove this guy, the fuel thingy. Great. Making a mess. It's alright if I blow up. I have an extinguisher. Yeah, I always have an extinguisher ready. Because, bad luck always strikes when you least expect it. You know what? I'm like wasting a lot of time. Let me do this the fast way. Let's try that again. I always called this my Makita. It's not a Makita, it's a Milwaukee. I don't know why I call it. Makitas are this color. Oh, much better. Oh, much better. First of all, I want to get rid of all these guys, because these are just going to fall all over the place, and I don't want them to fall all over the place. So I'm going to take this off, all the bolts. Now I'm going to go straight up. Make sure you grab the gasket, and back here also you grab the gasket, the paper gasket that goes between this piece and this piece, okay? You don't want to rip it. Rip it good. Okay, this one's stuck right here. If I keep going, it's going to rip. Yeah, it's going to rip right here. I can feel it. It doesn't want to let go. There we go. Okay. That is how much the fuel there's in there? Oh my god, there's almost nothing in there. Really? There's very little fuel in there. Like half the bowl is empty. I thought it was actually going to be higher. A lot higher than that. See? You can see it. Right there. See, I'm going to touch it. Right there. That's how much fuel there is when I take it out. Wow. I was expecting a lot more. I'm going to do the other side and see if it's identical. I just want to see what reading I get. I got to zero that out. Alright, see 0. Okay. Now we're just going to go start dropping it, and we'll see when it touches the fuel what we get. Right there. Okay. I think I might have gone too far. I'm going to raise it back up. And then try again. Come on, real slow. Sorry. Okay, there it is. Okay, there it is. We've got 29.74 millimeters. Okay, we'll make a note of that. All right, so let's do this side. Come on, I'm almost there. Right there. Right there. Oh my God. 3310. That is a difference of... Okay, so passenger was 9.74. Driver, oops, it just sunk. Whatever, driver is 33.10 millimeters and millimeters. I already see a big problem. That is a huge, huge problem. Wow, this explains a lot. One car is running lean and one of them's running rich. So the question is, which one's the one that's running lean? And according to this, it's the driver's side is running lean. Yeah, the driver's side is running lean. And this guy might be running rich, for all we know. Or it might be correct. Interesting. Because, okay, so we're running rich, right? We're on the freeway and it's running rich. So that would mean that the passenger side one might be the one that's throwing too much fuel into the combustion chamber, because it is almost 4. Well, 3.5. We'll call it 3.5. 3.5. Let me do some math, really quick math. All right, so did my math. That's the difference, 3.36 millimeters. That means that there's 3.6 millimeters more fuel on the passenger. Okay, so I'm going to readjust my fuel bowl so that I get this, and then I'm going to redo the test so that I get a number. I'm going to drop this one. Definitely going to drop this one. Another 3 millimeters. 2.5 millimeters on the adjustment bowl
float. Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
You guys got to see this. So what I did, what I was looking at, because I know that I checked my fuel bowl, you know, on the valve and all that bullshit, and I know I'm at exactly 14. Right there, there's a little ball bearing on the valve itself. This metal here has to barely touch, and that's when you get your reading from here to the paper. It should be 14. Okay, I checked both of them. They're exactly. However, here's where it gets interesting. Okay, we're gonna go with this one first. See how close that is to hitting bottom? See that? You can barely see it. It's maybe like 2 mils. Like 2 mils, right? Let me go ahead and measure that. This is kind of hard to do, but I can do it. It's all right. I'll just do it sideways. 2 mils. Okay. That's about 2 millimeters before it touches the paper. Okay. This is not exact. This is just trying to give me an idea. All right. So we're going to leave it at 2 mils. We're going to zero. Okay. Now we're going to get the reading right here. See what the difference is. Oops, going the wrong way, fool. Right there. It could go a little bit more. About there. Okay. There you go. It's 327. Our reading, they're almost identical. They're almost identical. I'll be damned. You know what that means? What this means is that these guys are probably bent or not correctly built. Let's see this one sideways. This one looks really straight. Okay, okay, that one looks like perfectly straight. This one looks like different. Like it's bowed. From this one to this one, like it's bowed or something like that. So this might be a very simple problem of these guys are not high quality. They're made in China. They're made in China. What do you expect? It's made in China, man. So what we're gonna do is we're just gonna readjust this thing. Readjust right here, the little bendy thingy. Let me get over here. Readjust this tab right here so that we have the exact same clearance right here on this one. Because, yeah, it is very, very, very bad. And I'm going to do that right now. See if I don't mess it up. Supposedly, you just go under it like so, and you bend it like so. That looks about right, right? It looks about the same as this one, right? 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 Yeah. Yeah, it looks about the same. Looks about the same. Let me get a reading. I don't want to do this again. And I'm going to say that I went too far. Way too far. Do over. Okay, let's try that again. It's so hot in here, it's not even funny. And it looks like, oops. I don't want to put any pressure on it. and right there. Okay, these two. Yeah, we're not, this is completely from the way they tell you to calibrate it. Generally, what they tell you to do is do like 14 millimeters. Let me see if I can do 14 millimeters. Okay, like a piece of paper like this. This is 14 millimeters. I just measured it. What you have to do is basically do this. Oh, it is so hot in here. It's a freaking sauna. I'm dripping wet. And basically the little ball that's right there has to barely touch. And it's touching. Just barely, but it's touching. So that leads me to believe that it actually might be the valve itself. Oh, I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. But we're going to do the test again now that we got the same height right here. When they're just upside down like that. See, you got the same height now. Exactly the same height. So we're going to put everything back together. We're going to take some fuel out of the carburetors, and then I'm going to put these back, hook up the fuel hose, turn the key on for a couple of seconds, and we'll take the measurement again, see what we get. All right, so basically we're not using their standard way of calibrating these because these are not set correctly. Yeah, so you can't go by that. So my advice is go by the height of what you get on your paper. And I'm thinking that the height that I'm going to be using is going to be this. Float height to the paper, okay? That height right there, 4.89. We're just going to go with that one. We might actually have to change it, but I don't think so because that carburetor is running okay. So, but real quickly, see, perfect. Now, let me get the other one. And there you go. Perfect. All right, so both of them are perfectly calibrated. They're identical now. We should have, theoretically speaking, the same amount of fuel in the fuel bowl when we do the test again. So just very quickly, I just used one of these. Just went in there and sucked all the fuel out of there. And I put it back in the gas tank, okay? Didn't throw it away or anything like that. That's how I did it. Okay, let's go ahead and get the tops back on and redo the test. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the fuel pump. The fuel lines are connected. One screw to hold it all together. So I'm just going to turn the key now. A couple of seconds. I'll let it pump for a little while. I can hear the fuel rushing into the bowls actually. Alright. Everything sounds good. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off now. And then we'll take the reading. Okay, so very quickly, this is the one we adjusted, I believe. Passenger was 29 mils, which means this was higher, way higher. Okay, so we needed to drop it to this level. So we're looking for like 3310 more or less on the passenger. Okay, let's go ahead and check it out. Here it goes. Come on. There we go. Okay. And we are at 3290, which is very close to our driver's side amount. I mean, you can't, you just gotta let it go with that. I'm not gonna adjust it anymore. So, perfect. So now both carburetors, now this one is no longer that. This one is 32.90, a difference of 0.20 millimeters, which is really nothing, which is basically nothing. So now that we have both bowls at the same level, we're going to go ahead and put it all back together and see how it runs. But first, let's confirm this number again. I'm assuming it's never going to be the same, so it'll be around 3310. But let's find out. See, 0. We are at 0. Okay. Gotta get away from the edge. There we go. That's better. Okay, continue down. And there we go. All right. 3255. Okay, so that's what I expected. I didn't expect it to be exactly the same. It is, you know, it's basically an average. You know, the thing will be sloshing and it'll move up and down, whatever. So 3255. That's what I got now. It's still, I mean, look, it's still, you know, 32, 32, 55, 90. It's a difference of, what is that? 35? 0.35, right? Yeah, 0.35 millimeters. The difference between that. Okay, so this is good enough for me. Good enough for gun work. I'm going to put it all back together. It should work just fine. So in retrospect, the Venturis might be just fine. So that article that I read about the Venturi, the 44 IDFs do not work, may not be the case. He may have had a case of warped, you know, it's like a little, they're warped. They're made in China. It's not a Weber. So there you go. It's not a Weber. So you just have to play with this until you get them right. So if you threw your IDFs to the garbage, run and get them out before the garbage picker-upper comes and picks them up. You might be able to fix this. All right, so here's my dilemma right now. I am right here. I have fuel filters. Fuel filters right here. Yeah, right there. So I'm going to go ahead and replace it. I have several of them. So I'm going to go ahead and replace it because otherwise I can't get to it. And yeah, I'm almost done. I just have to hook up that stuff. But I don't want to hook that up until the fuel line to this, until I get that fuel filter out of the way. This side is done. I'm going to go ahead and replace the top for this so that they can work. But I'm going to leave that not finished. I'm calling it a day. I mean, you can hear the cricket. Some cricket sneaked in here, and he's going off, man. I mean, literally going off. All right, we got a new fuel filter. This one I just took out. Man, I just blew on this thing, and it's like, I mean, you can get fuel through it, but this thing was very close to being on its last leg. And no, I wasn't starving my carburetors for fuel. I mean, these things only take 2.5 pounds of fuel, so it's like, you know, minimum for it to work correctly. So I wouldn't worry too much about it. But it's a good thing to replace your fuel filter. I mean, look at that. I mean, it even turned yellow, and it used to be crystal clear. Yeah, replace those at least every other year, I would say, if you drive it a lot. Every year. If your gas tank is full of crud, a couple of months, you know, they're only like 50 cents, you know, less than $1. Just buy a whole bunch of them. And I got to move that thing actually from there because that's a nightmare to get to. I'm going to put a little adapter from there to there, hook up the hose, or just get a bigger hose and put the fuel filter underneath next to the transmission. That way I can get to it really easily. Yeah, things to do and no time to do it. All right. Perfect. Let's put the linkage and get it on the road. I'm going to drive it like this. I'm not going to put the filters on and anything like that. I just want to see how it responds because I have a feeling that I'm going to have to increase my jet sizes because both of them now are going to be running at the same level. And that one was running rich. So that means this side is probably going to either lose power or gain power. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Let's see what happens. I'm going to put the rest of the stuff together so we can drive it. All right, so I just finished calibrating the throttle thing. Because every time you take it apart, you have to recalibrate these things to get the throttles just right. I don't know if it's going to start right. I usually get it to start right without having to readjust anything with the engine running because I'm that good. Ooh, he's that good. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. was awesome. It started really nice. I like it. So far, so good. Let's go for a drive, see what it does. Wow, listen to that engine purr. I don't think it's ever started that smooth. Like, smooth. It's always kind of like a lumpy on one side, and then when it got hot, it smoothed out. Now it's perfect. Wonder if it's related to the fuel bowls. Now that they're the same, we have perfect amounts of fuel going in. Oh! All right, let's go for a drive. Okay, so first impression, it's very smooth. But then again, it was always kind of smooth, so let's see what happens when I do a pull. Okay, we ready? Yeah, let's go. All right, that's all I need. She's a little flat. She's totally flat at around 5,000. 45 to 5,000, she's flat. She's got power. I mean, don't get me wrong. She's flat. So we're gonna increase the mains. Yeah, she's flat. So that means that the carburetor that was running richer was actually the one producing the extra power. But now that we're both running leaner, it means that we can bump up the jet sizes to a normal size, which would be about a 25 to a 30. Oh, who knew? All right, let's bump it up. All right, so I'm gonna use this drill. I think it's a 125. Yeah, it's a 125. I have to turn off the lights because the ballast, the magnetic field that the ballast creates, the fluorescent lighting, it throws off my calipers. So if you've got digital calipers, turn off your, or get away from the fluorescent lights. This was a 118, remember? So we're gonna re-drill them. They've already been drilled, so it's really easy to just, you know, re-drill. So when you solder them that you have to drill through them, it gets a little hard. There we go. She's trying to get the stuff off. Always go down to the shaft because that's what you're going to use as a gauge, and it smooths out everything. There we go. She's feeling good. And basically I'm going to do that to all 4 of them, and I'll bring you back when we're back on the road. Alright, second pull with the 125 mains. Okay, she's pulling a lot better. Way better. Yeah. Definitely a lot better, but I think there's a little more in it, in that little Porsche engine, 2-liter. Yeah, let's do one more pull and confirm what we just saw. And let's go for it. Yeah, definitely. Wow. Okay, she's got more in it because I've had it with more power. But she's almost there. We're gonna go to 130s. Okay, that does put us in the normal range. 130s. All right, cool. Okay, I actually was paying attention to the time. This literally took me about 5 minutes to do all 4 of these. Not counting the time that it took to take them off from the carburetor, but yeah, about 5 minutes to drill them. It's really easy. Like, I could do this all day, I guess. Right? Not. Okay, anyways. Let me just tighten this one and we'll go back on the road. Should be done. Okay, let's get back on the road. tell any difference, like power-wise. It just felt about the same as the 125s. So I might actually go to the 125s again. But I want to see what it drives like on the freeway when I'm doing 80, 85. I want to see if it goes rich. I have a feeling it's going to go rich. I'll just keep my mouth shut and my fingers crossed that that guy stays. Actually, it's actually more into the optimal now, but that's my idles. Those are my idles. It's I want to see what happens when I go a little faster than that. I just wanted to see where it would go. Wide open throttle. All right. Let me just set up for cruising. Okay, so basically I'm doing 80 and that's where it is. There has been an improvement, a drastic improvement. I suspect that I'm gonna have to run the 125s and that should get me right on the edge of optimal. There you go. We've had an improvement. I call it a win. So I'm gonna drop my mains down to 125s again. That should get me more into the normal or stoich area. All right, so you guys have seen me do this many times to solder and then drill. So I'm not gonna show you that again. So I already did it. The jets are already back inside the carburetors. We're at 125 again. 1.25 millimeters mains. And yeah, I also have to wash the dishes, so my hands are nice and squeaky clean like I haven't been working on the car. Yay! Mandilon. Anyways, let's go back on the road. Alright, 125s. Oh yeah, I even hit the rev limiter. Alright, I gotta slow down. Definitely 125s are the jets for this 44 IDF 2-liter engine. 125s with 32 millimeter Venturis. Okay, we're at 80. This is where it would go. I'm gonna say that is a hair of an improvement. We're like right on the edge of rich. Can I live with that? For now, but eventually I'm gonna mess with it again. I do not like it. We have improved drastically. I mean, look at that. It is right on the edge of stoich and rich. All right, so we're back in the garage. Let me pause that. Back in the garage. It pulls the best it's ever pulled. We did improve our thingy air fuel gauge. It went to the very edge of optimal at 80. So I mean, there was a drastic improvement. Remember, we were down here. We were like a quarter into the rich. So there has been an improvement. Can I run like that? I don't know. I'll probably do it for a while, see what kind of fuel mileage I get. But does it bother me? Yeah, it does. It does. It really does. I might actually mess with the Venturis, open them up to 34s instead of 32s. Maybe it'll have an effect or not. I do not know. Alright, this is where I have to end this video. We did a lot of things today. You guys learned how to calibrate your fuel bowls the old-fashioned way versus the way Weber tells you to do it, versus, you know, the little thingy has to barely touch the little ball that sinks into the valve of the float. Sometimes there's something funky going on there. Remember, these are China carburetors, so I just calibrated them so that they have the same height, so the ball is fully depressed, and I calibrated them at 4.89 millimeters, the height from the paper to the edge of the float. That's the way I did it, and I got the same amount of fuel in the fuel bowls. So if you can't get the same amount of fuel, you know, check your fuel levels before you do anything, and then you'll know if there's something funky going on with your fuel floats. I wish I could speak clearer. Anyways, but that's pretty much it. Okay, this is where the video ends. Goodbye.